There's a lot of pretty big sets being built in the Czech Republic. One of the bigger ones is the Transylvanian village, which we've got about 20 houses and a church.
Alan Cameron, our production designer, built this wonderful village, which we like to affectionately call Transylvania Town. The design of the village is slightly hyper-real. As you can see, the roofs are canted. It's almost a little bit of a Whoville type feel to it. But at the same time, and especially on film, one of the things that we're so happy about is that it has a very realistic look.
I wanted the village to be slightly twisted. It has to absolutely look real. It has to look like a real village, but where the hell is that village? I said, you know, I love German expressionism. I said, let's look at some of those movies like Dr. Caligari and stuff like that.
I love that village because you'll notice there's a slightly off-center quality to it all, and just a little something to it that is just not quite right, not quite real, just enough to take you out of what you think is real. No, it's played for real, but it's a story, you know, and you have to take people off into this other world, and everything from the set just aids that, I think.
But I think there should be some though.
Some, yeah, might as well hang
Just to introduce
from here and here, whatever.
And then you're white.
We try and get a sense from the production designer what he's thinking about in terms of the space. Like in the village sequence, it was great because we actually got the blueprints for the entire village that Alan was building, and we modeled the village in 3D, and it was pretty much exactly what they built. So we were able to help Steven stage his action, basically.
It actually began in pre-production with the animatics. Like for this sequence, Jennifer and I broke out the script. And based on the script, we pulled a certain number of shots. Say we thought there would be, I don't know, 50 shots. And then they hired Rapin to do animatics, who hired a small team of animators. And we broke out the animatics and say there were 70 shots of the animatics.
The previs is just part of the process. You know, it's like no one's tied to it. A lot of things happen on the day that, you know, you can't get what you planned. But with the previs, it gives the director a tool that he knows that if he at least gets this, it'll work.
The previs works as a phenomenal blueprint for these sequences, and I think it is becoming more and more common to, quote unquote, stick with the previs as your blueprint.
And that's where visual effects is very tricky, because every frame and every shot impacts you, both financially, creatively, schedule-wise. So it's unique. The department's very unique in that regard.
See, I told you that Kyle liked me. I want it to be as real and organic. This movie had to be, you had to absolutely believe that everything's real. And so it couldn't be about flying a camera around a little miniature model set. I wanted to build a village and fly a camera around the village. And that became quite a task.
We thought it was very important to have their point of view. So since they fly, the camera also has to fly.
It was really an amazing set, and it was fantastic to shoot there. And they built the biggest rig that's ever been built, a wire rig. It was the length of 2 football fields long, and the width of the football field. And wires, maybe 15 wires stretching this entire thing, so they could hook the camera up, shoot it along. Camera could go, I think, up to 50 miles an hour.
Action!
The cable cam is driven by motion control software. It's driven by Cooper. So we can get the X, Y, and Z coordinates from it. The head itself is a simple hot head. But luckily, we've been shooting for weeks and weeks in the village. So the match movers have pretty much measured everything. So at this point, I don't think it's going to be a really horrific job to match move these shots. And the shots are they're very sweeping and they're very grand shots. So I think it's going to work out pretty well.
Alan Davio, our cinematographer, has been very particular about the amount of smoke that he puts in here, and I think it gives a very nice realism within sort of a hyper-real environment, which is exactly what we're looking for in the design of the movie.
There's a cemetery in this village set in the back, and we were shooting in that cemetery with our own snowfall, our effects people producing the snowfall, and it's a wonderful scene. It's one of my favorite in the film.
And still you try to kill him!
He's a werewolf. He's going to kill people!
He can't help it! It's not his fault!
I know, but he'll do it anyway!
Do you understand forgiveness?
Yes, I ask for it often.
Cut! Print it!
Good, good.
We said cut, and we were going to turn around and move around, and they shut off the snow. The snow was still falling, but it was real snow. And it's just the nature of being someplace and adapting. At least we're in synchronization with the weather there.
It's amazing, except the ground, of course being a peasant village, is dirt. There's no pavement, there's no cobblestones or anything. And they'd laid a bit of straw down, of course the snow came, and then the rain came, and by the time we were shooting with about 1,000 extras there all day, it was mud wherever you went. So it was kind of fun. I think the Czech people quite enjoyed seeing all these LA people with their Prada snow boots on, you know, trudging through the mud, you know. Oh.
Because the brides fly through some of the buildings, so we actually do physical effects where you see the roofs of the building explode. And then once the visual effects are added, the brides fly through the building and it all looks like they really blew those roofs out.
When you make a visual effects film, which Steven's been doing now for years, it's a leap of faith. You have to have faith in the people that are creating the effects to come up with what you have in mind. And so when you do see it, I mean, I can imagine how exciting it must be to a writer-director like Steven to actually see his vision start coming to life.
We're just trying to sync it all up, see if it's working.
Steven, once we've got this, we'll do one coverage with their hair pulled back, just doing the same thing.
Why is that?
Just in case we need to do something
In case you get a little scared? You get a little scared back up there? Okay.
Just want to give you the option.
In case this is you.
Sid Dutton and his people have painted an entire cyc, a 360 view of the mountains and a separate view of the clouds and things.
This is a plate right here that they shot over in Prague in their village set. And obviously the day that they're shooting, it's a totally overcast sky. Our objective here is to take this overcast plate and create a shot where you have the sun sort of, directly in view, and it will have a big sky that comes across and, essentially wipes that sun out.
Oh, Van Helsing.
There are so many shots where people are just going, how did they do that? After a while, it just becomes, well, it's all so real, the audience will be sucked into the movie even more.